Hey everybody, welcome to another World of Tanks replay, and this time I'm in my M41 Walker Bulldog trying to get Light Tank 15 done again. Ended up on El Haloof in a tier 8 match, actually mostly tier 7s and 6s. There aren't many 8s in here, which is a pretty good setup for me. The Bulldog is fantastic when there's not many 8s to bully it, so I was really hoping to pick up the mission this game. Now, I'm not very good at light tanks, and I'm not very good at picking good scouting positions, so I figured what I would do was run down to the cap, sit on the back slope of that hill there, and just try and spot from there and get damage where I can, as well as put cap pressure on the enemy, force them to come down and try and reset me, which should in turn get them shot by my teammates up on the cliffs. First thing I light is the SU-100. Now I decide, even though it's a bit risky, to stop in the open and take a couple shots myself, because of course now your own damage does count towards the total for Light Tank 15. And then the Chaffee pushes into cap to try and counter me. Now, although I can easily beast the Chaffee in a straight up fight, I don't want to get into one because I know he's going to have support, and there's one tank in support of him. No point popping out that side while it's looking. I decide to leave cap for a second to pop out the other side and see what's going on there. Bulldog is behind the hill, I can't hit him, but I can certainly hit that, and it hasn't seen me. The Bulldog's gun makes short work of an easy 8, even frontally at this range, and by trying to time my shots, I'm able to pop back into cover and force him to miss me. He's one of those pubbies who needs to turn his turret and look behind him to see where he's going in reverse, so he only gets the one shot at me. Now at this point the enemy have a second tank in cap, and I don't know what it is yet. I quickly peek around to see if I can spot it, nothing yet. So I drive a little further out, and oh god, it's a KV-85. Does get a shot into me, but it's not a really big shot, thankfully for me. I'm able to track it on the corner and pull back. I can see that the Easy 8 is actually out in the open now, so I decide to finish him off, which I do. Northwest is a bit of a clusterfuck at the moment, it could go either way. The majority of our team is actually arrayed out along the cliffs. I see a chance at the enemy Bulldog, who is heading up the switchback. And even at this long range, the Bulldog's accurate, fast-firing gun makes a good account for itself. Now I was worried here that the KV-85 might push me, so I decide to abandon the position and get slapped by the SU-100Y. That changed my mind pretty quickly. I knew he was on reload for a little while, and he's obviously pulling back. But then I move back into cover before he can have his next shot ready. Looks like we're going okay up in the northwest. Overall, we have more tanks still alive than the enemy. Actually, we've got quite an advantage here. 7-3 at the moment, in terms of kills. And the enemy T-71 gets a shot into me, and this is where I fuck up. Well, one of the many places I fuck up. I try and play games with the T-71. It's an autoloader. And it gets 2 good shots into me there. If he'd got a third in, he would have killed me. However, I do want to try and finish him off because I'm scared that he's going to push down the hill and just rush into the cap and kill me, particularly in conjunction with some of the other tanks now pushing in the northwest. Since our AMX 5100 went down to Artie, there's now an enemy SU-100M1 coming, and that is quite a threat. I look to see what it's doing. I wanted to get a shot into it, but I missed my chance there, unfortunately. And oh Jesus, here it comes. Now I was terrified it was going to kill me at this point, so I just ran, and I was sure I was dead. But it turns out that the SU-100M1 didn't get any shots into me. I don't know if it was because he couldn't depress his gun or what, but that missed shot there was the nearest he got to killing me. and a second missed shot there. Now I don't want to go head first into the SU-100Y, so I head around the right here, and I decide to come up through the rocks to his left side and try and shoot him in the side or rear, as he's probably still facing down towards the T-25-2 that's coming up his way. Now I was hoping I might be able to spot Artie on the way through, but as yet, nothing. The tactical situation is a clusterfuck at the moment, and there goes the enemy GW Tiger. The SU-100Y is caught on the hop. There's nothing he can do here, except pray that I bounce, which I don't. But here is the big mistake, and this is the mistake that cost me Light Tank 15. I was so close to getting it. Charging headlong through buildings, which slow you down obviously, into a loaded GW Tiger P. That was so very avoidable, and yet I did it anyway. So you can imagine I wasn't best pleased with myself after narrowly missing out on Light Tank 15. Now comes the funny part of this, where we get to watch how my Pubbie teammates very nearly threw the match. So the enemies still have a full health T-28 Proto, an SU-100M1 with just over 500 hit points, just about 60-70% of his health I think, and then their Artie. T-28 Proto just gets a kill there. Our Black Prince, who hasn't moved all game, finally starts pushing out into the open and gets spotted by the T-28, who finishes off the 59-16 before moving on to the Black Prince. Check this winner out. MLG play right there. Of course, he's doomed. There's no way he's going to survive this T-28 chasing him. The 88 is in a position to support him. At least somewhat in a position to support him, but then he decides to go after the Artie instead, which was a huge mistake on his part. He should have turned around and helped out down here. The T-25-2 gets a quick side shot into the T-28 Proto, but then goes for a second. He's lucky the T-28 missed there. It's now 1 or 2 shottable for him, but he insists on sitting in front of its gun. And it wipes out half his health in a single shot as he, I assume, bounces. Now, in this situation, he should have pulled back, turned around, and headed through the gap at E2 to attack it from the side, or, what I would have done, head through the gaps at D1, or D2, or even all the way up around from B3 and engage it from the side. You do not ever drive back out where it just saw you. It's pre-aimed on this corner. I told him in chat, as you can see me flipping out in chat, it's pre-aimed on him, and sure enough, it gets a shot in. He does too, and he's lucky he did, but he's now down to 80 hit points. And he's still got that 100M1 to deal with. The AT-8 cleans up the Artie and begins to turn around. It's still full health and is in a position to support this guy, but all the same, this was a lot closer than it needed to be. The AT-8 finishes the SU-100 as it tries and fails to suicide ram our T-25-2, who then luckily snapshots the T-28 as it comes around the corner. There was no reason for that to be so close. None at all. If you're engaging particularly a large, slow, immobile tank destroyer with a turret that doesn't traverse all the way around, you don't go back out from the corner it just shot at you on, you go all the way around it from the other side. You can't attack people from a direction they know you're going to be coming from. And I shouldn't have to tell people this, it seems like common sense to me, but every time I play I see somebody peeking and poking around the same corner with something they should not be frontally engaging, when they've got all the opportunity in the world and all the time in the world. 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes almost, still left on the clock when that happened. They could have gone round, but they decided not to, and had our T-25-2 been killed there, I wouldn't be entirely relying on the AT-8 to pick up the slack and win the game, even though he was on full health, because the AT-8 is even more slow and immobile than the T-28 Proto and doesn't even have a turret. In any case, a good example of what not to do when engaging artillery in a light tank. Tremendous fuck up on my part. I didn't deserve light tank 15 after that play, but all the same, I did manage to do a lot of work towards helping my team win the game, and so at least I can be happy in that knowledge. Thanks for watching. As ever, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.